Hi, Chuck Hawley from West Marine, and I'm talking to Greg Pardis about some of the Johnson pump solutions to emptying holding tanks and sanitation systems. So you make what I'd call sort of a conventional macerator pump, but it's actually got several improvements over the competition. Tell us about your macerator pump.
Our macerator pump has overload protection, so if this runs on, typically with a macerator or a traditional macerator pump, it's a flexible impeller pump, which means there's a rubber impeller rubbing up against a housing. If this is left to run dry, the rubber impeller can burn up and it causes the pump to cease operating. We have overload protection on the motor, so when that happens, the pump runs dry, the motor overheats and it shuts this pump down so you don't burn up your impeller. Macerator pumps are typically flexible impeller. They have a chopping blade, typically stainless steel, which takes the large masses coming out of a waste tank, kind of like your home disposal unit, chops it up into a slurry through an 1.5 inch inlet, and then discharges it out through a 3/4 or 1 inch discharge.
Okay, so this is a very reliable pump with one additional feature in that it turns itself off if it somehow gets overloaded.
Correct, absolutely.
Is there an option for people who want to change away from a macerator pump and use a different type of sewage transfer pump?
Now, macerator pumps are nice, but again, if they're left to run dry, which on occasion if you're emptying a bait well tank or you're emptying a holding tank on your boat, you may walk off and maybe have a cocktail. And if you walk off and have a cocktail, you can let this run dry and you can burn up your impeller. One of the options that we have out of Johnson Pump is our single diaphragm Viking series. A single diaphragm pump uses a single diaphragm with 2 choke valves. The single diaphragm creates positive and negative pressure on each stroke. Intake is in 1 inch and the discharge is 1 inch. As long as the solids fit through that 1 inch inlet and outlet, this pump will continue to work and continue to pump solids. The great thing about a flexible or a diaphragm pump is that it can be run dry. This can be run literally indefinitely dry without hurting the pump or destroying the diaphragm.
So what are some of the applications here? Is this mainly for discharging sewage overboard, or are there other applications on board?
This is typically used in many cases by sailboaters to empty their bilge area, gray water as well as water that accumulates from rainwater or water washing over the decks. In this particular case, a great application that we have is with Jeanneau Beneteau. We sell Jeanneau Beneteau a systems or a subsystem where on a solid board that's pre-drilled, we sell them a Viking 16 for their bilge pumping and gray water needs. We also incorporate a water pressure pump on that board and an accumulator tank. So it's sent to the Jeanneau Beneteau factory as a subsystem, and they just install it and hook up the electrical, hook up the plumbing, and they're good to go. The great thing for the associates at West Marine is that these individual components are available from West Marine, so when your Jeanneau Beneteau sailboaters come in looking to replace those pieces and parts, you can replace it with the exact OE equivalent, and you take up the same amount of space on the subsystem board.
Well, and the one thing that a boat manufacturer doesn't want to have to deal with is warranty claims. So you can imagine that Beneteau Jeanneau spent an enormous amount of time making sure that these were quality products. Quality products that if you have to replace them, you can find them at West Marine.